I'm going to start now. All right, we're about to record a demonstration on the CSS portal of some processes for both planning and building and safety. So go ahead, Jason Hufnagel. Thank you.
All right. Well, the first thing I want to do is just log in. So you need to be a registered user to use self-service. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to log in to my self-service. Hopefully I get my name correct this time. Okay, so it says good morning. It says my name right here. I'm going to go to my dashboard. These are all the open permits and plans that I have. It immediately tells me I have a floodplain development plan that needs attention, but I'm going to apply for some brand new ones. And so these are the 7 processes that are currently been built. I'm going to apply for a temporary use permit major, but just to open this up, I'm going to show you how your category looks. And this might be telling of what your descriptions actually show for you, Veronica. If that makes any sense. Let me just go over to planning and I'll show you. And I believe it is row 11, if you're not already there. So if everyone looks at their CSS documentation for description fields, the category name is temporary use permit, includes music and or alcohol. That's the friendly name as well. And it is also the description as well. But it looks like I missed part of it. I do apologize. Well,
Looks.
Sorry, maybe it wasn't 11.
Looks actually, no, I think it is 11, isn't it? Oh no, temporary includes major. You're right, it's not.
No, it is 11. Sorry.
Sorry. Okay.
Temporary use permit major includes music and or alcohol. Now, Veronica, do you see how the category name and the category name probably should not be temporary use permit major? It should probably just be temporary use permit.
Right, I say that.
So you can put both the major and the minor in there together, and the description is very much the same as the name of it. So I didn't know if it should be different or if you want to just put temporary use permit major as the name and then actually just show that includes music and or alcohol in the description.
So, well, could I use a description for like to add more verbiage in there on the type of things that would be applied for?
Yes, you could.
Okay. And so on the CSS spreadsheet, this is where it was a little confusing. Where would that be? Where I would be able to add more?
That would be in K, column K.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna make a note to myself in here so I know that. Okay.
And so you can see right here, these are all the categories. So these are for the permits right here. That's how they look. And then this is the one for plan.
Okay.
So I'm just going to apply for it. I'm going to go from there. So I made the location required. Is that correct? You want the location to be required for this? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm just going to add a location on here. Search.
Now, Jason, I'm sorry. Yes. Do we have the same safety measures for them not being able to add bogus addresses here too?
Right here where it says enter manually, I can turn that off. I haven't turned it off yet. I can turn it off though.
Okay, we do have that ability. Perfect, thank you.
Yes. So I'm going to add 1450 Johnson Drive in Truro. And it's going to add the associated parcel. So we have that right there. I'm going to hit next. And so this is now more columns. So we're going to go to column M. So it says, please ensure you're applying for a temporary use permit major, which is fine. Currently, there's only one plan type, so that's why it locks it in like that. And if you go to your description, so that's what you have for your description of that, your instruction. And then if you go to column, where is it? Q, it says require description. So you have to put the description in here. And then it says note, use this field to describe a detail for what you're applying for. Now that note I cannot add unless you would put that in the instructions for this, Veronica.
Okay, and where would I put that?
That is where column M is currently.
Okay.
So you can see where the column M's instructions are right here. Please ensure you're applying for a temporary use permit major.
Right.
That's what your instructions were. And then I made it required, but you would have to add a note right below that saying, use this field to describe. So it would, you have to say, use the field of description to describe. I mean, if you wanted to use it like that. So
okay.
I'm just gonna hit next. Now it automatically adds me as an applicant because that's what do you call it? That I'm already a registered user, so it automatically sees me as the applicant trying to apply for this. You could also choose the rest of these land use contact types. Are you thinking are there any ones that need to be there that aren't, or is there anything that's required that isn't?
It would probably just be the applicant and property owner.
Okay. Well, my question to you, do you want to make the property owner required?
Yes, we would. We want to make sure that they're okay with this request. Yes.
I'm gonna let you know though also that to make it required, we'll also make it required in the back office as well.
Okay.
So you couldn't complete the plan type. You couldn't hit save. You couldn't save this plan without having a property owner on it.
Okay.
I think that's good, don't you, Veronica?
Yeah, I mean, we do that now. So
okay,
right.
I'm just prefacing with making sure that you want to continue with that like that. That's fine.
So Jason, can you make, so if what you're saying is that they would have to add the property owner as part of this application, otherwise it won't allow them to progress?
Correct.
Right.
Okay, I like that. Okay, all right.
So I'm just gonna add a property owner right now. I'm gonna search some contacts in here. I believe Veronica, you are in here, so I'm just gonna add you.
Okay.
Right here. Ooh. I'm not going to actually because it says City of Ventura. I'm afraid of that one. So I'm just going to use this one instead. You can't have too many people with the same contact type with the same email address of what you work with what's as a contact. That can become a problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and move that over to this one. Hit next. Okay, so this is the more info. This is coming directly from the custom fields. Kurt, are you still in Enterprise right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so can you open up a plan right now and open up the temporary use permit? And I'm going to switch it over to you just so we can compare exactly what's in the back office to what's in here.
Sure. Okay. And yell at my dogs. Hey guys, stop growling at each other. They're gonna start barking. Okay, guide me along. I go to the E, right?
All right. Mm-hmm. And you're just gonna type in plan.
Plan. Very good. And hit return. And then gotta hit return. There we go. Oh, I blocked a pop-up. Allow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it did it.
I don't know what you did there.
Okay. 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 again. Plan. Bingo. Hit return. There we go.
Are you just gonna hit it? You're gonna hit new in the right hand corner.
Very good. All right.
And then you're gonna go to plan type and you're gonna open up temporary use permit.
Temporary use permit. Okay.
3, 5, 4, 4.
All right.
And you're just gonna choose major.
Major.
I have the tags for it and everything.
Right.
And if you go over to additional info, you can see exactly what the custom fields are, which is the left hand side.
Oh, that's it. There you go. Maybe deja vu mode. Yeah.
So we have the date, we have the time, estimated attendance. The fire department required and police department required are for the back office, and the description. So this is all that, these are the custom fields as well as the report custom field. But for CSS, I'm going to take back the screen, Kurt. That's okay.
All right.
5128.
So, Veronica, we have the date in here.
Mhm.
And so let's say I want to make it the 21st. Leave the time. So put that in there, and estimated attendance. Let's put in 450 people.
Or it could be 8828.
So this is just a
813.
this is just a small description. These are the custom fields. Now, do you want to make any of these custom fields required?
5 and
Nothing is required currently.
Yeah, they would all need to be required.
Okay.
And under time, they could put like 7 to 10 or whatever. It's a range, right? Or is it locked into one?
No, the time is just a text box. They can put anything they
Okay.
want here.
Okay,
They
good.
could put cat time.
Okay.
I mean, there is no thing in here for time. Unfortunately, the way the system works, there's only a date range. There's no time range.
And on the date range, sometimes it is actually a range. It, it could be like a Friday to Sunday event. So how could we change this field to include that?
Well, we'd have to change fields in the back office as well.
Uh-huh.
And so that was, and I'm wondering that would also change how the permit is written. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, it sounds like a scope change.
How the report is written. Yeah, I think it would change the report, wouldn't it, or no?
Well, I know we can always edit the report. I guess that's my saving. That's what saves it all. But see,
We can't. When you say edit the report, we can edit the report to a certain extent for the temporary use permit, but not the custom fields. We'd have to add an extra custom field somewhere for the report. And then that's one thing.
Yeah, I think the issue is, so if you were to look at the application for a temporary use permit, there's a lot more information that we asked for, which obviously wasn't included in, the TUP fields we have now, because we weren't anticipating going, online. So I don't know if, I don't see how we cannot require like the application that we require now to obtain all the rest of the information, but the date range is probably, if it's not easy to, so once I enter a case and I generate the report, I can't modify that field on my end when I export it. I would think I could, right? And add like I don't want to create any more work for you on your end, but we would need to have a start date and an end date on the final document that we send out, if that makes sense.
It kind of makes sense, but if we go back to the temporary use permit document, Kurt, let me see if I can you open up yours right now?
Certainly. There we go.
Let's just put a date and time in there and estimated attendance.
Okay, how about next Friday? And time from 8 AM.
So
and-
B, couldn't you put like, in that, where the custom fields are filling out right now, couldn't we put a start date and end date?
Well, that's what I think they're saying is it would require an additional.
We'd have to
Instead-
go. We'd have to look back at the report, is what I'm thinking.
Oh, got it, okay.
So go to your description
Yes, sir.
as well, and just put in having a party. Go to the plan details in the left-hand corner.
Okay. I don't need to save anything there?
You can't save anything yet without having an address
Very good.
or certain things added there. So if you go to where addresses,
All
right
right.
in the middle,
Oh,
next to where it says parcel.
oh yeah. Oh, over here. There we go.
So you're going to search for an address.
Okay. Is there a better one than 501 Poli? Should I
You
pick
can do
something
that.
else?
It's fine.
Okay. Doesn't matter.
Don't put Poli right there.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
that's street number.
That's
Sorry.
just the street number. It's going to come up as an error.
Okay. Is that enough?
Yep, that's enough.
Search. All right.
So when I
What did I just double
All right, you
click
want to click that folder. You want to click that folder to the left of it.
on? Okay.
person went in and added the payment
All
after.
right, you're going to go to the contacts. Kurt,
So
But
when
that's
I
it.
then filled
and you're going to have to add a contact.
Okay. Contact. Okay. And first name.
You could just search, but okay, that's fine.
Oh, okay. Is this? Oh, should I look for somebody real? Is that
No, you don't. I mean, no one in here is real right now.
okay? So I'll
Really?
just search.
Well, you're searching for Emily right now. That's fine.
Right. Right.
So I would just go back and just delete that and just hit search and just add someone. It doesn't make a difference. Just delete Emily. Yeah,
Okay.
just hit search and just select someone because I just want to. We just using this as a.
This is an
And if you
example.
click on the boxes,
Hit the folder, right?
no, hit the box. The box
Oh,
next
okay.
to the folder,
Okay.
and then hit OK.
All right.
You're gonna change that person to the property owner as the contact
Okay.
type.
Contact type will be property owner. There we go. All right.
And if you go up to the top, where you can see where it says it's still missing something.
Oh yeah, the something about can't be a
What is
major.
it saying? Isn't
Oh, required contact type applicant.
so? Change that person to an applicant then right now. That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
The contact, yeah.
Oh, the contact, right. So contact to an applicant. Oh, I see. So we need an applicant and that. So okay, so we had to add somebody else now, right?
No, you're fine. You're fine right now. When that happens, it will. So you go up to the save now.
All right. Save it. Okay.
And if you go over to documents,
Documents. Okay.
it's on the lower hand side, yeah. And then you hit temporary use permit.
Okay.
Hit create report.
Oh, we want to see what that looks like.
Yeah, because I want to
Okay.
see how the date range is actually coming up on, or if there's just a date on there, or how that looks.
All right. I thought I hit create report. Let's see.
Well, this needs to create a pop-up, and if you okay, there we go.
There we go. I know.
And if you just open that up,
All right.
it'll take a second.
Okay.
Okay. If you just hit that the maximize button. Okay. If you scroll up to the top. So the date and time, it automatically just puts one day, Veronica. So that would have to be that had to be changed.
Okay.
Put it back on the credit card.
Yeah,
If we
because
were
more
gonna
often
do
than
that.
not, it's multiple days. It's not just one day.
Okay, can you,
Yeah, and it was originally, so that would have to be a redo of that report if we're gonna do that.
Is it a redo or would it be?
I mean, not a redo. We'd have to go back into the report and make changes to it. We'd have to, because there's no way of adding an additional custom field and it just automatically seeing that, because Katie would have to look back at this again if we're going to do that.
Okay.
And that's a Kurt and Jason Kim discussion then as well.
So what does this look like currently in desktop?
We don't generate it in desktop. That's the thing. We don't generate any, permit type reports in desktop currently. So it's all new to us.
What kind of specification did we give you, Jason Hufnagel, when we requested this? Was there anything for date? Did we give guidance?
Yeah, what was in there was what was approved. So that's what's going on.
Once again, going back, I mean, this is all something that has, we're now doing, probably a year or two ahead of time. So it wasn't anything we anticipated.
Right.
And honestly, now that I'm getting a better handle on it, now I get it. I mean, if you were to look at the application, there's tons of questions we ask. So at this point, without redoing the whole TUP thing, I don't see us, doing that now. Maybe later on when we play catch up. But there's, I don't see any way around not having to require the application, right? And once again, I wasn't anticipating that we were going to be, generating all of these things out of here. So I know it does need work.
This is important. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take a note on this and get the facts and talk about how we will proceed. Thank you for pointing that out. Jason, don't worry about this, today. I mean, you've got other things, and certainly don't worry about it when you're away.
No,
But
I mean, that was one of the main reasons why we built in what we built in, I think, for CSS was because we were going to have to make some sort of change probably to temporary use, or not to temporary use, but to other things. But it's also if that happens, it could affect conversion as well. That's the biggest thing for making sure conversion still stays on track.
So, why am I looking
More
at
changes we do in the back office.
my screen here? I'm looking at the report tracker for temporary use permit. Am I looking at the right one?
is that one with the credit card number in?
Yes.
Why does that show a status of cancel?
Because there's two of every single report. You have to go down. There's another one, Kurt.
Okay. They'll want to make an update on it. Is it called the same thing?
Yeah, I believe it's called the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let
Expiration,
me change my status.
that's refund to yes or no.
It should be ready for go. Well, not ready for go live, but
Well, then completed. Yeah.
Let's just find it real quick.
So Kurt, I think this is a good thing to possibly bring up to the steering committee because, like Veronica was saying, when we started this project, we really didn't anticipate everything going electronic, and we didn't anticipate customers not being able to come to our counter, filling out our applications and getting things processed. And now that we've added to the scope of work, I mean, maybe that's something we want to really talk to them about, and incorporating some of this prior to going live so we don't end up with a semi-functional product, like some things work and some things don't.
And that is a deep and heavy topic. You're absolutely right. Right? It changes the nature. It changes the nature of everything because you no longer have that immediate back and forth to be able to make the corrections on the fly that you took for granted, right?
Right. And again, when we started and we answered these questionnaires, it was based solely on the fact that customers were coming into our counter and we were just going to convert over to use what we currently have. So, I mean, just a lot to be considered. And I know that we're running out of time, but it's something that we need to consider.
Is this yes, it is. You're absolutely right. You're right. This this could be the first, and Jason, I don't mean to panic you or anybody like that, but because this is really our problem, this is the first of what could be many such, not irregularities, but just problems related to the new work paradigm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and just to add a bit more to this one, it's like, this isn't a critical, I mean, it would be nice, and I know the goal is to have everything streamlined, everything through CSS, but once again, we're not doing that now in desktop, and we weren't envisioning doing this like this soon.
Right.
To be honest, we get maybe 20 TUPs throughout the year. It's not like a major thing, like on a building, on the building side of it. So if it would take too much time and effort, and the steering committee says, you know what, we need to table this, I don't have a problem with that, because this isn't it's not a break it or make it kind of thing for me, because we do it. It takes me, I don't know, a small amount of time to complete these outside of Energov. So it's right now what we mostly use Energov for is to log case numbers in and just keep track of it. The good thing we're getting for this one is we're able to route to police and fire and put the conditions in there, which is great, because that's a big step in getting everybody in, online and doing it. But if the report is a major ordeal, I can work without it. I just want to put that out there, because like I said, we only get maybe 20 of these a year, so it's not. I don't
So
think
maybe too, as a workaround, the description, does that print on the reports as is right now? I'm assuming it does, right?
Well, right now, I think we could modify it though on our end.
Right, so I mean, maybe that's where you put that critical information is in the description, so it prints on there.
Right, exactly.
There you go. There's a nice workaround. But in your
and
point,
then my thought was when you export this, I mean, I'd have to play around with it, but I mean, we can modify and add a date range in there as well. I mean, at least we can now when we do PDFs. Right? That should be doable.
You can, so you have a PDF, I want to say that, PDF editor?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, if you can edit, then yeah, in PDF, then yes.
Yeah, I mean, once again, so we could still print it and I could just do whatever tweaks I need to until we get it right.
Yes, so as long as you have a PDF editor, you should be able to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing there may be some ways, some workarounds to get us through this particular one, but back to Anne's point that I really need to at least plant a seed in the steering committee's head to understand that going fully electronic, we have discovered that going fully electronic may be more complex than simply transcribing everything into CSS. That there's steps along the way in doing things face to face that may not easily translate into that business model. We don't know what all of those stumbling blocks might be, but we want the steering committee to be aware that they're probably out there. Is that the message basically, Anne, trying to bring to our attention?
Yes, because I think they're thinking that once we get the CSS portal, that everything is going to be electronic, everything's going to be smooth, because now we have this process in place.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to have such high expectations that it's considered failed when it's not, doesn't meet their expectations.
So, exactly. Kurt, I also want to make this point as well, that to get things working fully, so any questions you ask in CSS, so if you were to add more questions or add anything additional, you'd also have to add it in the back office as well.
All the way back. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So it goes back to, like, if you want changes made to things in CSS that aren't currently there, you also have to make changes to the back office as well, and it kind of brings us right back to where we were to begin with.
Right. So you actually stepped just in front of the point that I was going to make. You illuminated the point I'd like to make, which is that any change, when we encounter these problems and we attempt to tackle them, they essentially probably in most cases will constitute a change order for the project in a way, right? Because we'll have to go back and open up something that was previously closed to rework it. Isn't that right, Jason?
Correct.
And that's no small thing, and that's out of scope for the project for items, because we were hoping to finish phase one, locking down all those back end items, right? And we don't want to reopen those things anymore unless absolutely necessary. Doesn't mean we can't, but it means the steering committee needs to understand it's not as easy as just fixing it.
Correct.
Okay.
Right, and I just think if we get their expectations at a good
Mhm.
level, then they're not going to consider this whole project a failure, or and that's my concern. You know,
Right.
that I think all of our staff need to realize that this was on the fly, it was added after the fact, and even though we've put in a lot of work to it, that it may not produce everything that they were hoping for.
The image that's coming to mind, Anne, is a flying limousine. Okay, they had ordered a limousine, and at the last minute they wanted to bolt some wings on it and fly. It may get in the air, but it ain't going to be pretty, probably, right?
Right, exactly.
Right. That's okay. Good. So my mission is to help the steering committee understand that, and also the second theme that I heard from you, Anne Marie, is the concept of failure. I need for them to understand that once this thing goes live, we may uncover some of these things between now and go live, but some of these things might not come to light until after we go live. And they need to understand that that's not a sign of failure. That's a sign of the fact that we bolted some wings on a limousine, right?
Correct. And that this portal is going to be a work in progress, and we really won't know the functionality and how well it's going to work until we're actually in there and allowing the citizens to use it.
Right. Jason, based on your experience, are we forecasting? Are we shining a light on the future that you think is probably real? That we will encounter these things?
Yes. Unfortunately, the ones that other products I've been working on, they've kind of built the CSS out concurrently while building the first part of it out. So they wanted this, and they go, we wanted this as CSS, so we have to build it. We have to build the back office right now, and then we want this in the back office and not in the front. And so, and they're like, all right, that's complete. We like what we have. Let's move on to the next one. Like, that's how they did it.
I see. Then
So
you've got the
they
whole
tested
toolkit.
it.
Yeah, they've got the whole.
Yeah, they
toolkit.
tested it all out all at once. Yeah, and since we added this at the end, it's kind of thrown this project in a kind of a loop to a certain extent. And that's what I mean, it's.
I totally get it.
My major concern of this project is we would find areas like this where we go, we need to make some sort of fix, and we have to make it to the back office as well now. Then whatever that affects makes other things. It's a domino effect.
You've given me the way to explain this, right? So the way to explain this is, if CSS was in the picture from the beginning, we would have built the whole thing from beginning to end and validated it and tested it from end to end from the start. We got nearly to the end of the system without CSS, got it built, validated, and nearly tested, and then bolted on the last piece. Guess what? Now it precludes us easily making adjustments at the beginning, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And we don't get to see it. We would have seen these things earlier, and there would have been a tweak at them in the under the hood earlier. I get it. Thank you both for raising this issue. I'll talk to Jason. We've been meeting him at 10, and then also Louis, and find a way to share this with the steering committee. In the meantime, for this one, does it sound like we have maybe a workaround in using the description field?
I think we do. I think we could make it work.
Okay.
But I have a feeling we're going to have the same issue with our other simple ones as well.
Yes. This
Possibly.
the first of many.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to take back the screen. I'm just going to finish out the rest of this for Veronica. That way she can see the rest of the things she's put in there. And then after that, we'll go off to Anne-Marie's stuff. Hopefully we can do this all before 10, because I know me and you have that meeting, Kurt.
Yeah. And while you're making that transition, thank you, Anne and Veronica, for helping to illuminate this, and Jason as well.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm just going to hit next on here, but we have the more info instructions here. We will make everything required on here later on. Now, we have not been able to add the attachments, and that's mostly due to the fact that we cannot add that until we have the ADFS working. And and Kurt understands that as well.
Yep.
Since there's a thing called file sets, and the only way to add them is with the shell version of Energov. And the shell version is just how it looks different. It's just instead of it going fully Silverlight, it's got some sort of other functionality in there. I'm gonna hit next right here, and then this is your signature information. And if I believe this is on column O. I hereby certify the information is furnished, attached exhibits, data, information required for project evaluation, the facts and statements, information presented are true and correct. See, I already did it. I see a typo right here. It says two is, I can make that, yeah, we can make that a little small adjustment, but that's just one of those things that needs to be checked as well.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Don't know why it's, there we go.
Yeah, we're all,
So this is the last part of it.
yeah, all the.
Right here, where you can just look at what you have, completed. I'm just gonna hit submit.
Cat time. You a cat guy, Jason?
No, I'm not. And then this is your, now where it says please allow X to X business days, this is what was written in the success message. That's why it says it like that.
Yeah, I need to put some timelines in there. Okay.
So that's what we have there for that. And I'm gonna hit continue to plan. And right now, Kurt, if you open up if you hit plan again on your end, I want to see if you can pull it up right now.
All right. Want me to take back the
I'm
screen?
gonna switch over to you.
Okay.
So Jason, on this one, that success statement is, I think I put it on all of them. I might change it for some of these where they're once again pretty straightforward and they could go ahead and pay the fee during this process. So
well, if they're gonna pay the fee, you need to let us know which ones need to be paid first, so that way I can just set it up so it automatically invoices them money.
okay, and how do I flag those?
I'll look in here in 1 second. If you Kurt, if you just go to open a brand, hit the E again, and open plan again. Open a brand new one.
Okay. It's opening.
I'll be back in 5 years.
Now, if you just hit search,
Yes. Okay.
if you put in 08
08
dash
dash
20
and search
dash
dash
0019.
08 dash 20
Sorry, one more zero.
001. Is that search? There it is, and the box or the folder.
Yep, hit the box. So this is what I just did, testing CSS. If you look at the contacts.
Contacts. Okay. Oh, there are two. Yes.
Veronica Company, she's the property owner, and then you see Jason Hufnagel there as well. The plan status is submitted online. We also, if you go to additional info,
additional
on the left-hand side.
Oh yeah. Okay.
This is everything I've entered in there.
And once again, I can go in there and edit it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So that's what I just completed. So that is that for that. I'm gonna switch gears and go over to Anne-Marie's stuff.
All right.
Thank you, Jason.
Will you switch gears? I want to ask
Thank you, Veronica.
Veronica, with Energo, if we didn't do CSS, and back to that other one with that report, how are we going to display the date ranges on the permit without CSS? Or we didn't matter the CSS part of it. The report just needed, that was a problem with the report with or without CSS, right?
Right. And I could, with the PDF editor, I could go in and make it work.
Oh,
Basically,
okay.
I have to edit it anyway for some other things.
On desktop, does it display that date range?
No, we don't use anything in desktop. We just assign a number in desktop currently.
And
So this is a lot more than what we
how do you give them the permit?
it's a whole separate document outside of desktop. It's just a Word document.
That's where the disconnect happened, right? I get it. All right. We brought something into the system that we weren't doing at all before.
Right.
Okay, so I just
Jason.
made this a column for planning. It's in column U. It's called review first, simple, require payment first.
Okay.
CSS.
So the review first will just mean the city will review it before they charge the person when they get it. If they require payment, it'll immediately ask for payment to be, it'll invoice them immediately as soon as they submit the application. And then simple is kind of a thing where you get the permit. It's like, and I know this is probably, there's no permits like this since you guys want to review everything first, which is fine. But like for some other constituencies, like for example, if they're applying for having a balloon in the park, I don't know. I'm just making something stupid up. But if they were doing that, if they were applying for a permit to do that, it would be a simple permit. They pay $5. They immediately get the permit as soon as they pay. It's boom, boom, and the city never touches it. It's something that's automated.
Right. Yeah, we don't have anything like that.
Exactly, and that's the simple process. So I just put that out there just to let everyone know about that one. So don't worry, you don't have to worry about that process.
Okay.
So will we need to fill that column out for you, Jason, on each of our tabs?
I think for majority of everything building and safety, it's going to be review first. I might be wrong.
Right. No,
So
I agree with what you're saying.
I already set up majority of them to be all review. I think I set up everyone to be review first. This is the first time I've heard that you would require payment before actually reviewing it. So, and that might just be for certain planning ones. So
yeah, it would be just a few of them, like a zoning clearance verification letter, for instance. It's like they pay it and then we do the work and then send them what they need. So it's payment up front. There's nothing to review.
Yeah,
there's just a couple.
Like I said, it'd be, I think, more, it looks like it's more for planning than for anything else. So I'm not really worried about it for the other departments until we get down the road and actually see something. All right. I am going to go over, I'm going to take it back from Kurt and I'm going to do the building and safety.
Okay, I'll try not to have lots of questions so we can kick it out before 10.
We have 2, by the way, for you, Anne-Marie. So, all right. I'm going to start with the minor new commercial. And so this is where I'm going to open up the categories. And the category for this is commercial over-the-counter permit. That's what the category is for that. The category name is right there, commercial over-the-counter permit. The description, fencing, block walls, awnings, exterior enclosures, temporary construction trailers, minor new commercial permit. So I'm just going to hit apply. Nope. So the location is required. I'm just going to add the location on here. It automatically attaches the parcel, which is great. And this is your location instructions as well.
Okay, let's see. Do you think we added too much now that maybe we can? No, I think that's good. What do you think?
I mean, it seems pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not, nothing too
Okay.
crazy there. I mean, it's
Okay,
up to
alright.
you how you want it to actually be seen. Did you want it to be broken out into one big paragraph, or I don't know why I separated it on this one. I mean, it's one of those things.
Mhm.
If you
Yeah,
look at it and you think you want to make some adjustments, just let us know.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to hit next. So on here for this one, this is the basic info instructions, is column M. That's what's on top.
Okay.
So it says, please note planning approval required for all exterior changes. So it lets them know immediately right then and there what's actually going to happen. And on column Q, you wanted it to be, the description is required right here. Or is that
Yeah.
not correct?
No, I absolutely want a description.
Okay. So I'm going to add test, just that. I'm going to add some square footage. And then I have to
So
add
not
the
square-
valuation as well.
So, Jason, in the square footage area, let's just say it's an awning, so there's really no additional square footage. They can put a 0 there, and it will still, right?
Yep. I put 0 for
Okay.
both. You can hit next.
Okay, got it. Okay, I just wanted to make
And-
sure. Okay,
And so even if the valuation is wrong, you can make any adjustments to it.
okay, perfect, awesome.
So this automatically opens up to here, to this contact information,
Mhm.
name, phone number, development services require all commercial resident issued a state license.
So yeah, we
Contractors,
have that disclaimer on there about the property owner's complete information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So I'm just gonna add a contractor just for fun on this one. I'm going to add search for that.
I'm like,
Hey, Anne, you know how
Yeah.
how on some permits you don't indicate the square footage?
okay, so is that correct?
right?
You want to make it not required on some of these? Or will they?
Well, that's why,
Then have to.
I mean, if they could put 0 in there, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times when we have the square footages on our applications too, and we have it starred, like, oh, this is all required information, but they can put 0 there.
So you might want to put that as your instructions as well. You could, make a side note. If square footage is 0, or if there is no square footage, please indicate a 0.
So, and that was under type, right?
It's under basic info
Oh,
instructions.
basic info, and that was, the column, let me find the column, okay.
Column M for building and safety.
Column M, okay, so add note, that's a good add note about square footage, okay. Thanks, Veronica.
Oh.
I was just thinking a 0 would work, but maybe we should add some that, yeah, that's good.
Okay, so this is the more info screen.
Okay.
This is
complete all
what
requirements.
this will be the custom fields information. Now, I don't think I added everything in here, so I'm just gonna preface it with that. I
Okay.
just did just one page, I think. So this is the more info instructions, which is column I. Complete all
Okay.
required fields. So this field is required. It says you describe work field. That's very similar to what's in the back office.
So Jason, if they hover over like AFS required,
There's no field notes for them, unfortunately.
oh, and I think I asked you this before, and you don't have the ability to add notes.
Currently, no. Those field tips are only for back office. I don't know why, but currently that's how it's set up. Yeah. So,
Okay,
I mean,
but then again, this is
will
all
be changed in the future, but yeah, currently right now that's how it's set up.
that would just, yeah, if you, I know now, Jared, are you listening? This would be really good if this is your program to add the ability to add field notes, because even though the back office knows what AFS is, maybe our customers won't. And if they could hover over that, that'd be great. Okay, next.
Well, I mean, we could also, the only thing you could do is add a label on top of it, but it would just be additional space going down.
Yeah, no, it's okay. As long as it's not required, I'm good.
Okay, so Okay, so we have occupation load, status street, new building address, CBC edition, AFS required, yes, no, NA, new building use. Now, if in choosing so, they can choose non-residential, they can choose mixed use, or they can
so
choose
this,
none.
all right, and this is, what is this? This is what tab is this that you pulled this from? Because I don't necessarily think we need this information, so. Okay,
This is
all right.
all coming from the commercial permit new OTC, and it's just that first
Okay.
page, the custom
Got it.
fields.
First
That's all
page
that
of
is.
the customer.
Pulled this
Okay,
up. Yeah. And so I made construction type required.
good.
So if I'm gonna choose this one, and you can choose more than one. So,
Mhm.
or should it just be one? I want to make sure about that. Can it be 2B and 3B, or is it just one?
It could, if it's a mixed use type building, it could absolutely be more than one type of construction and more than one occupancy.
Okay. So we have the building occupancy as required as well. So I'm just going to make that, click on that as an office. It immediately turns red, and then residential type right here, I'm just going to put office. That's the yellow drop down, and then number of units. I'm just going to put 6. So now I didn't add any more additional information on here. I know there is that other field for commercial. If Kirk, can you pull up a permit, and I just want to make sure that you want that coming in here. I just want to make double check on that.
Yeah, some of this I can already tell that I mean, as long as it's not required, I'm good. If they can provide more information, they can. But if they don't have to, that's perfect. And then question on that, if they fill out those custom fields, and let's say they fill them out wrong, in the back office, do we have the ability to go in and zero that out or change those?
You can override anything.
Okay, good, perfect.
And they can't change it back.
Okay,
so
good.
If you hit the E and put in permit, Kurt.
Okay. Okay, it's loading. And then search, right?
If you were to hit new.
New, okay, great. Permit type.
Building commercial OTC. That first one.
Up at the top.
Great.
And you're gonna work class is gonna be new.
Okay, all right.
And if you go over to additional info.
All right, additional info. Okay.
And so you can see that's exactly what I just took what was from here onto there. That's what I did. Or this description of work.
That.
I didn't bring over the small projects, and I just want to double check on that. That's what you wanted me to bring over for this one.
Right. Kurt, can you just click on the small projects? I don't think I want that to come over, but I just want to make sure. Because that's going to be in the, no, that's, because those are all, those generate fees. And so I'd rather have them not do that. So yeah, that's perfect.
Well, it was the only reason why I was asking for that is because this is an OTC, and so they can put in the description, the described work, I want to build a fence, but wouldn't you want them to tell you exactly how many feet they were and then submit their plans as well? I didn't know how you wanted to use that. That's the only reason why I was thinking about adding the small projects.
I know. It's just, I totally get what you're saying, but my issue with that is it's going to generate fees. All of those custom fields, when you put a quantity in there or an amount in there, it automatically calculates the fee.
It does.
So I don't want them.
It doesn't invoice them right away.
Right, but I don't want them to see the fees if they've done it wrong.
They wouldn't see the fees.
They don't? Okay.
They don't see fees. So like right now, so if I go back to the one I have, I just created fees for myself because I put in information for the valuation, the construction type and building occupancy. There is a permit fee to that, correct?
Okay. All right. So I'm okay if you add those in small projects, as long as they don't see the fees and we have the ability to go in there and clean it up before they actually see it. Because I just don't want them to see fees if they've done it wrong.
I understand that. The only
Okay,
thing is,
I think, but that is kind of smart, having them fill out the lineal feet on the fencing and the retaining walls, because a lot of times we have to ask for that.
yeah, I mean, it just helps to get the project rolling and helping you move along. That's the whole entire idea of the CSS, is to make it easier for you guys.
Right. I agree. Okay.
So, all right, I'm just gonna take it back for the moment. I've already filled out everything I need to on this. I'm just gonna hit next. Now, this is the attachments area. This is where normally you would add all those different types of attachments. I'm not, they have not been built out, and I told you earlier that had to do with the ADFS. So I'm just gonna skip ahead to this, but as you can see, this is where your instructions is, at least, for your attachments.
Okay, this is great. I like that, because it tells them what needs to be on the plans. Okay, all right.
And signature, that's your signature information as well.
So now, where's the note that we added for this under signature about the legalities of them signing? And I think it's under column, where's that note?
Column O.
I think I had on column O more verbiage. Yeah, it says, I, the undersigned, understand approval of this project does not waive any requirements, laws, ordinances of the city of Ventura. So that will be added to that where we're looking right now.
Yes, I believe I might have made a mistake on this one, so I do apologize.
Yeah, this looks like it's the description.
I grabbed, I think, the residential one for this one. I think that's what I did.
Yeah. Well, and it looks like it's the description field and not the signature field, column O.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I can't believe I actually just did that.
That's all right. Probably hadn't had all your coffee yet, Jason.
Well, when I did that, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, it requires description. Yeah.
Or it's probably like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. All right. So that's what I did. Okay.
Okay, so just so I'm clear though, then my in column O where it says I the undersigned blah 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 blah, that'll be there.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good.
I'm sorry. Yes.
No, don't be sorry.
All right, it's hitting next. All right. And it's just asking again to make sure everything you filled out is correct. You can make any adjustments to it, or you can go back and save the draft until later if you're not sure. I'm just gonna hit submit.
So I do have a question for you, and I go back and forth on this, and Veronica and I were having a chat about this earlier, about the necessity of applications. Are we going to be able to print this screen? Let's say we wanted to use this as the application for our file. Are we able to print a completed screen like this that shows all the information they provided, or once we clean it up, so that we can scan that portion of it and send it to OnBase so that they can know that this was applied for, there's the signature, or not?
No, what's going to happen is you'll get an attachment coming with this. So that signature that I assigned will come over as an image of a signature, and it'll be imported with everything else they've submitted. All the other attachments.
So then maybe, I know we thought it was kind of redundant, but maybe I'm going to go back to requiring an application required on every submittal. A completed application is the only attachment that I'm going to require on every submittal. Because I need something to print and send, or save and send to OnBase. We need to show that an application was applied for, and we have a signature in correlation with that to put in our public repository for public records requests and information. And I was hoping that we could just print something out directly from CSS, but it doesn't appear so. So, okay, that's going to be a required attachment for me then. Okay, completed and signed application.
The only thing I can think of to do it would be to take a document, go to the document area for like the reports of that permit that was just submitted, and printing a permit off of it and that doesn't have, and the status would say, not issued.
Right, but it would not have their signature.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, no, that's fine. I'm going to go back. No, why should I go back into my CSS doc now and add that as an required attachment, completed and signed application, or not? Because I know you said not to make changes to the Excel spreadsheet, but I need to know moving forward how you want.
I didn't say don't make changes. I said, sorry, you can make changes to the Excel spreadsheet. That's fine. It was just one of those things when we're working through things, is one of those things where I didn't want things to be changed, mid us making the actual creating it. That's what I didn't want happening.
Okay,
So
got it. Completed and signed app. Okay, I'm going to add that to that then as a required attachment for just down across the board for all of my application types. Okay.
Okay. So as you see right here, it says 0 fees, but
Oh, good.
if you were to look up this permit, there would be fees tied to it in the back office.
Okay, but the applicant wouldn't see that. Just the
The
tax.
applicant wouldn't see it. The applicant does not see it unless they get invoiced.
Got it. So and then once we calculate the fees, let's say for plan review or whatever, then we invoice them. They have to pay the fees before we move it to the next. We can require that they have to pay that before it moves to the next level, right?
Correct. And it's one of those things where it'll show up as it'll bring them as an attention, like must pay fees. And so they can't apply for inspections. They can't do other things while it's happening.
Okay.
I don't know what
Perfect.
just happened
All right.
here.
And then our staff will know that the fees haven't been paid and not to move it to the next level, right?
Correct. And so
how do we get notified that the fees have been paid and we can move it to the next level? Do we get an email or?
There is an automatic automation that happens once
Perfect.
you invoice. Once you invoice the fees, if you were to invoice the fees and they were not paid within a day, the status changed to fees due for all permits. All permits and plans. That's what the status will change to in the system. When the status is, when they do pay it, this automation runs at midnight every night, like 12:05.
Perfect.
When no one is in the system, because all these automations need to happen then, and they would clog the system if you were constantly making them run at every 5 minutes. So when they do pay it, the status will change to fees paid as soon as they pay it.
Perfect. Okay, that's good. As long as we know on our end and we don't have to hunt it down, I'm good with that. Okay.
Yeah, as soon as you invoice it and send it to them, that by the next day the status will change to fees due.
Okay.
And so if you want to test that out, I would choose Gold Permits today and choose, make sure that you invoice the fee, the fees. Don't pay it, and make sure that the status is not issued. If there's an issue in status, or actually no final status. Sorry, final status, not issue status. As long as the status is not finalized, the status will change to fees due by the next day. And then I would go in and test once you see that. If it's not, make a note of it. But if you do see it turn to fees due, go in there and pay. Make sure that you can pay the fees in the back office as cash. And then when that happens, wait until it should happen pretty quickly in the back office. So we'll have to talk about doing it with fees paid. But yeah.
What you're telling me to do is log into the portal, go through all of this.
You can log in through the back office. Just log into the back office and just create a permit, create fees, and invoice them. That's it. And just invoice.
And invoice them. Oh, okay. Okay.
As long as you invoice them, and by the next day, but they should be, the status of that permit or plan will change from, let's say, from in review for like the submittal, it'll change, or submitted, it'll change from that to fees due.
Okay. All right. I'll test that out.
All right. And now we have the last one I want to test. Hopefully we can get through this one. And unfortunately, Merritt, we didn't get to the one thing I wanted to talk about today with you. Until maybe later today. I don't know if you're available.
Yes, I am, Jason.
All right. I'm sorry, Merritt, for keeping you on.
It's okay.
For that.
No, it's good.
Okay, so we are going to do is the building residential, I think addition or alteration. I think it's addition. So this is the category is residential plans submittal required.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if I actually got the description correct on this, and I probably didn't. Let me just double check. As I was doing these ones last Friday, so. If I go down to it.
Describe major addition to residential housing.
Okay.
Is this the description you're talking about? I mean, that looks right.
Yep, okay, that's correct. All right, so let's just apply for the major addition residential permit. It's got the correct category name. I hit apply. The location is required here, and it also has information here telling about the location. Now, you see here, I didn't space it out where it says please
Yes,
search.
I like that look better,
You
definitely.
like this look better? Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I just wanted to know. So it adds the parcel information right here. I'm gonna hit next.
Mhm.
This is the type again, and this is the description, square feet and valuation. So all right. Valuation. Let's make it 400. Make it $45,000. And hit next. And this is the contacts as well. As you can see right now, nothing's required. So if you
Okay.
want to have
but
it required,
we do want applicant and owner, property owner on all of our applications required. And we
Okay.
have that note in there. You must also provide the property owner's complete information.
that's fine.
Yeah.
We can do that, and we have to change that in the back office as well. It'll be for both, so that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Now, where on the spreadsheet does it identify that those two entities we want as required? Does it?
It
I don't think it
doesn't
does,
because
does it?
no, because we talked about that I think originally with the phase one part of it, and I think I didn't remember it being property owner. I know the major one was we were talking about having contractor, and then we also talked about well sometimes they apply without having the contractor on there yet, and so if you do that then it would stop the entire process. So we took off the contract. For the property owner, we can add that. It's a quick fix. It's
Okay.
a quick change right there. So that's not crazy.
Can I interject with a quick question? Did we just uncover a good example of how CSS changes the calculus? For example, before CSS, we didn't need to inform the customer necessarily were the required applicants because we just enforced that on our own, right? But now that it has the interface, we have to configure it such that it's required. Is that a good example?
Yes.
Correct.
And Jason indicated that change has to go all the way back to configuration.
Yes, but that's a very minor configuration. But yes, it would have to be done for all of them. It would have to just be redone for everything.
It's a minor one, but it's one I can use as an example. Say this is minor, but here's an example of something that we didn't need to think about before because we enforced it internally. Now that we have CSS, we have to enforce it through the system.
Correct.
Thank you for helping me to understand and give me an example.
All right, and so I'm just going to fill out this information. This is all coming from, again, from that main page. I don't know if that is correct.
That's all right. It's not, but it's okay.
What would be the correct
You-
CVC edition?
We're at 2020. or yeah, 2020.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
And it would be VB. Might as well just use the right one. All the way down, VB. No, I'm sorry. The
VB right
construction
here?
type is VB. Yeah.
All right. And this is
And it
construction
would be,
property.
yeah, it would be R3.
What? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's a house. Forgot it's a house.
That's okay. That's all right.
Yeah. Or would it be a custom model or be production phase? How does that
It
work?
would be the custom. Let's go custom. I'd say custom. There you go.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this is, again, where you put your submittal information.
Okay, so now this would be the required attachment, right?
Correct. But you
And
also
so this
have your
is where
this is where
I would have completed and signed application. Okay.
So you know how we had earlier, I'll show you exactly how it's going to look with required and not required. So right
Okay.
here, it just like imagine this is pretty much not, these are everything that's not required. These are all the ones in there right now that are not required. So when it would be required, it would have multiple blue boxes be like required here, required here, required here, required here.
So
And then to be a last
question
one
on
that
that.
said you would have to just hit not required. You could add those.
Okay, so question on that, on your drop down, on that drop down,
Mm-hmm.
I thought I had way more required.
No,
I mean,
you did. I can't, and that's what I said. I can't add all of those information until I get the
got it. Okay.
until the ADFS issue is worked out. I can't add that information.
Okay, cool. No worries then. Okay.
No, I 100% agree, and that's the reason why I was trying to look at that. And I was like, I can't add that information. That's what I was telling Kurt. I
Okay.
couldn't add that information until that happened.
All right.
So
Okay, this is good. I like it. And then this is the
signature.
I think okay, and here you have the right signature information.
And then there's just the review and the submit of what we've just completed.
Okay, cool. I mean, I totally get how this is going to work now. It seems pretty straightforward for our applicants anyways.
So 0 fees, but there would be fees. And if I open up my back office for that permit, you'll see that there is fees for that already assigned.
So now, right. So those fees were based on them choosing the type of construction and the occupancy, right?
And the valuation. I think it's valuation or square footage, I guess, determines it.
Yeah.
Exactly what does it. But I want to show you what requiring permits is. And I did it for one of Chandra's. So I just wanted to show it right before we go, because I know me and Kurt have a meeting here in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I believe it is for the annual permit utilities. So for this, I'm just gonna I'm not gonna, you don't have to add a location for Chandra's. You don't have to add anything here as well for Chandra's. But for contacts, so this is how it looks. It tells you it's required.
Okay.
So it's telling you the city franchisee or the public.
Yeah.
One of those is required, but and then.
So that's how the application required will look. It'll be like you have to have this before you can proceed.
Correct, and you'll have the other ones over here. Like this is not required, but you can add it. Like that's how the other.
Okay.
When you pull down the list, it'll be all the list of all the attachments you can add. That's how it would look.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
But that's it. Unfortunately, we got some good notes.
Yeah,
Kurt,
absolutely.
Were you able to ever find an image here yet, or here?
So no,
for just our time period.
I spoke to Louis about it yesterday, and he's keen on this, but we don't have anything just yet. But I'll
do you mind if I just you mind if I just put something as a filler in there, just so
Well,
you guys
let's ask.
remember about
Let's ask the team that's here. Does anybody have any suggestion? We're thinking about something, about some images to begin customizing it. Can anybody think of an awesome background image for this? Like a city hall image or something?
Yeah.
Although it might be hard to find a city hall image that doesn't have the father in the picture, right?
Yeah. What about the ocean or something like the pier or I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe there's something on our
it? All
website.
right.
Yeah, go
Hold
ahead and
on.
put whatever you want in there for now, and we'll poke around and find something for you.
I think I got something right now. Let me see.
All right. Hey,
What a
we
big margarita, Jason.
like that.
All right.
Hey, Jason.
Yes.
Who's going to need access to the test aggresso system? Is it you and Byron?
It'll be me, and then I guess whoever else I'll be inviting into it. Byron won't be in there.
Okay, so
It'll be me, and I'll need Jennifer to come and enjoy. Like for the most part, like I want to demo it to people.
Yeah.
And so, is it ready yet, or is it gonna be ready to guess tomorrow? How's that gonna work?
They're getting it set up right now, and they're just pinging me right now, asking me who needs access.
Yeah, it'll be me getting access, and this probably have to wait, I guess, until Monday.
Sure, of course.
Then, the way it's
So
looking.
you and Jennifer Rowe, maybe, right?
Yes, and then as well as maybe Anne Marie, if she can join us for that.
Okay.
So we can.
When is this, tomorrow or?
No, Monday of maybe next week. I don't know if you're available.
Oh yeah.
Maybe do Tuesday of next week. Just sometime next week. That way we can demo how Aggresso works. That
Oh yeah,
file export.
definitely.
And
yeah, definitely.
So we just need to know exactly how that's going to look on your end, as well as when we process fees over here. So
okay, so Kurt, that's my short week, so I work Monday. Okay.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
All right.
All right, I am going to get on the VPN so I can add this real quickly. But hold on one second.
We're gonna finish with eye candy.
Potentially, yes.
Nice. Oh, and everybody
see the back office.
Louis wants to keep
the back office of it.
Keep a wrap cover on this until we get it nice and the way we want it to see it. He doesn't want folks to necessarily see it until we get it where we want. Nice and pretty.
I agree. We don't want to scare them off yet.
That's right.
And on that too, Kurt, I think it's important too that we don't share anything yet until we fully understand it, since we are going to be the kind of admin support on this. So that way we can really sell it when we do. Because the more we understand it, how it works and the functionality, the more we can sell it to our staff and hype it up.
I think that's a great point. So let's keep the proverbial garage door shut until this hot rod's ready to roll, and we know how to drive it.
I like your analogies, Kurt. You're funny.
Well, I was thinking of Sergio. Too bad he's not here. He'd appreciate that.
Hold on one second. Let me know if everyone can see that image. Oh no. So it needs to be a published image for it to work. So what I did, I chose the Ventura Pier. Can't really see with it behind everything.
Yeah, but I like the look because it's looking over the city. That's kind of cool.
Can it take up more real estate?
Well, it's the only image I found is only 1,000 by 582 pixels.
Okay.
So
that tells me
it just needs to be a bigger picture or a better picture. That it needs to be, play around with it, I guess.
Right. So good. So we make a dedicated effort on this, come up with a real beautiful image, and we can have it covering that whole background there from just below that. Yeah, just behind all those buttons or boxes.
Correct. And
It's going to be
so, one
great.
second.
The branding up on the upper left as well, Ventura, is going to be very nice. Everybody, this is going to really be a visual appeal for our stakeholders and the steering committee. They're going to like this because everything else we're doing is behind the scenes.
So we can do 2x2 layout as well,
Oh, okay.
or we could do 3x3. Looks like that, or the 2x3, which is pretty much what we have right here.
Yeah, yeah. And can you arrange where the boxes are in their order?
Yes, you can. You can put.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You want to apply here, and everything else as well. Let's see what else I can do. Body settings. Oh, that's not what I want. So this is the header setting. That can be up here. Trying to think of what else I can do. Oh, there is one other thing we can add.
And Jason, before we go, do you have anything you want us to do in the next 3 days in your absence? You have any homework for us?
Talking to the steering committee about the potential changes that might need to happen, or living the fact that the thing we talked about, I guess, is the only thing.
That's my homework. Do you have any homework for the rest of the team? We have about 10 or 12 items that I think most of the items are over on your side right now. But is there anything?
Correct. I guess probably trying to go through the whole entire process and seeing what's issues currently with the city. Like, when you're actually going through the process of a permit and going, all right, let's start from step one to here to here to here, and then let's see, what happens. So get everyone together and go, let's do one together, and then we can assign work, and then we can see how it all comes together.
Okay, so you know what? I created one and I assigned some reviews to Chandra, Merritt, and who else? Chandra and Merritt, I think, and Veronica. So maybe we could, that should be in their queue if they pull it up, or their dashboard saying that this review is pending, right?
Yes, if you go to my work, they should have information. They should have stuff in there. That's been completed.
Okay, because I did create one thinking that we could go through that whole process. So I just can't remember the number, but I'm sure if they went in there, it would be in there, my reviews or my work or whatever.
Let me see if I can understand. And Jason, I just sent Jason Kim an email to ask him to join us in this meeting like we did yesterday. So maybe he'll pop in. We don't have to rush. So are we here where the homework was to try to go through like a dry run with some of these processes? Is that what that was?
Yes.
And the team understands
because
what that.
I want to make sure.
Hi, Jason Kim. And the team understands what that means? Sounds like they do.
Yes, I think that if they go to my work and look for the permit I created that requires them to add their reviews or corrections, we can test that one as a start, and they can add fees to see if their fees are working. All
right. Would it be good then for us to meet again here tomorrow and try to do that as a team all together? It's hard to imagine our meeting without Jason Hufnagel, but can we give that a try?
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
And Chandra Merritt, can you join us? Can we do that tomorrow? Veronica, Chandra Merritt.
Yeah, that works. That works for me. You know what,
Yes.
Kurt? I was still not able to get onto that the CSS test site, so I don't know what I need to do since I'm at City Hall.
It's because you're in. We discovered that you can't do it if you're in City Hall.
Right.
And you can't.
So do I need to? Yeah. Do I need to like unplug myself from the dock thing and log on outside of?
Yeah, you'd have to somehow get in. You'd have to go to Starbucks.
So Kurt, I couldn't get onto it either. Is that because I'm plugged into the VPN? Is that why I can't?
Yes.
Okay, so I have to do it outside of the VPN and outside of. Okay, all right. Thanks.
Just like on your own website, on your own internet, then.
Yes.
Again, that's also a setting that the the IT people had set up for you. That's something on your side. It is your website. So people on IT could potentially remove that firewall.
Yep, and I've got that down as an action item to look into.
Okay, good, because if we could just remove it during the test phase, that'd be great. And then once we go live, Avi.
Well, I mean,
okay.
I know certain municipalities that use monitors or computers. They have them in City Hall. So instead of actually using people in the clerks, they walk them step by step through the process on a computer in City Hall. They don't have.
Yeah, I think it's
So
something
maybe,
we want to have it turned off permanently. I don't think there's a good reason to have it on like that, right?
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, because I can envision having kiosks at the front desk, because we do have them now, basically 2 computers set up for people to do public records searches, so they could log on there, like Jason said, and if they had questions, the text could help them.
Yes.
And also, I mean, it's also good just to see if people are calling in with issues, like saying it's not working, and you're able to bring it up on your own computer. You go, no, I see it working right here. I just pulled it up. If you can't pull it up, and when they're calling up with questions, you wouldn't know how to answer those questions as a city as well for complaints.
So we have reached a good point to stop. And Jason, thank you very much for the demos this morning. We learned a lot. We saw a lot. I, for one, am very excited to see what you're developing for us with CSS, and to have Jared and Gabby on board to help as well. We know you won't be with us for the next 3 days. We have our homework. I'm going to be communicating to the steering committee tomorrow. The team and I are going to meet again to go over our steps as we've been doing, and then we'll meet with you again on Monday to resume where we were taken off, where we had left off. Is that right?
That is correct.
So, Jason, on behalf of the team, we do not want you to think a thing. We don't want you to even remember how to spell Energov for the next 5 days. Just go enjoy yourself and get some good rest. You've done a great job with us, and you've got us in a great place. We'll miss you, but we'll look forward to seeing you on Monday.
Yes,
All right,
enjoy your time off. Get
Yes,
temporary
enjoy.
amnesia, Jason.
I'll talk to you. Well, I'll try to run that meeting with Merritt, since I knew we need to do that, Merritt. I want to get that one done today.
If you can
Okay.
invite me to that,
Not a
I'd
problem.
appreciate that. Great.
I will.
So
I
actually,
probably will invite Anne Marie as well. Are you available this afternoon as well, Anne Marie?
Yes, I am.
Great. I'll try to get that organized.
so Jason Kim is here, so maybe we'll just let everybody go, and then the 2 Jasons and I can sit and hang and do our next meeting here. Is that all right? We've got the room all warmed up.
That works for me.
Great. So thanks,
Thanks,
team.
guys.
Jason, can you give me just 1 second to refill my coffee cup? It's been 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Take your time.
I'm running on fumes. Just a second here. Thank you, gentlemen.
No problem.
Right. Hey, Jason Hufnagel, mind if I give Jason Kim a brief update about the interesting insight that we gained just a while ago?
Sure.
Okay. Jason, before we jump into this, we kind of uncovered that I need to communicate to the steering committee that adding CSS as an afterthought may invite some challenges later down the road. For example, I understand that if CSS is done from the beginning, then build and validate and final test and training occur from an end-to-end perspective. So if there's something in CSS that we don't like that requires a front-end configuration change, it's not such a big deal because you're developing it. But now that we've locked down all of the configuration, of course I'm speaking to the choir here, right? Now that we've locked down all the configuration nearly, making such a change because it doesn't translate well into CSS is problematic. And so we don't want to have scope creep as a result, but we do want to recognize that there may be things that don't work necessarily the way we want them to work. It may not be as pretty, maybe some of it's cosmetic, some of it may be functional that we actually do require a change order. But I just want to plant that seed in the steering committee's head so that they don't look at such things in the next few months as failures, but rather as consequences of the way that this was done. Did I say that clearly, Jason?
I think so.
Okay, does that make sense, Jason Kim?
Yes, it did.
Great. So I'm going to try to communicate that this Friday after I communicate it to Louis.
Okay.
And how are you today? It's lunchtime for you, right? Just past lunch.
Just after lunch.
That means Jason Hufnagel, you're running on empty.
Yeah, I'm running on empty, but keeping going. I got all day still left ahead of me. I got a couple more hours. Not really, but I'll probably be on until probably about 7 o'clock at night trying to get things done.
All right, thank you.
And we do have a 1.5 hour long all hands meeting coming up after this one.
I know.
Oh boy. You got your presentation ready, Jason Kim, for that meeting?
Oh, I'm not presenting. I'm in listen mode.
Okay.
All right, so I'm pretty sure you're familiar with all the stats here. Nothing's changed with CSS reviews. Nothing updated with the upgrades. Still waiting on conversion to begin. Nothing new with printers. The stats have progressed as we talked about yesterday, Kurt. So 5 ready for go live. 1 left in Tyler review and 6 in UAT pass. So it's almost done.
Yeah.
This 30 item ID 37 completed PEM combo OTC PLCK. Then we should be done with case types until we can test the conversion data for the remainder.
Yep. That's exactly what it shows on my screen too. Yep.
System change tracker, no changes since, oh, I'm sorry. We got 1 out of pending response Tyler into closed.
Yep, that was yesterday. Thanks, Jason.
No changes with geo rules or automations. Those are both complete for now. I'm wondering what changes may come to the geo rules if we added that public facing layer for CSS. Jason, are there any?
No, because it's all gonna be back office stuff. Is that as long as that thing is front facing, we're only using for the front. We shouldn't have any huge issues. It's just making sure to configure it for the front is going to be, I don't want to say a challenge. I mean, it took me an hour to figure out the one, or close to an hour to get that one working for it currently, to make sure the map actually worked correctly. It's just making sure we have all the information for it, making sure we have an address locator URL, making sure we have certain information in there and certain things in there, so the map isn't all out of position. Because let's say, for example, I put that map in. If we don't scope it into looking at the correct area right away, it could be, looking at, New Jersey in the map, and you'd have to scroll all the way over to Ventura before you actually saw anything. So like that information also needs to be in there. Like there's a lot of I don't want to say minute details, but it's details that are needed for it to look, decent. And then even from there, if you want to make it look better, there's other details we can adjust.
Makes sense. Okay. Let's see. Reports, I didn't see any movement at all this week.
Yeah, I
Nope.
finally got some things completed on my end for fire. We're having so I'm turning everything over to Katie today. I'm reaching out to her as well, telling her what's in there before I go today as well. And then we also have a meeting on the 2 that are installed today, and that was what I was trying to get in before the end of the meeting today, so we could figure out what the heck was going on with that, because there's 2 reports that are installed, and I wanted to knuckle it down and make sure that they're both are needed, or one is needed, or that way we get that information in there correctly. That's the reason why for that. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. All right. Integration test. I see that Matilda has set up the environments for Aggresso testing, so I'm sure once you get back, Jason, you'll be working with Jennifer on that one, right?
Correct.
Okay.
During the meetings just now, Matilda was pinging me, asking me for the names of the people that would have access. So she's sitting, in fact, she's pinging me right now. So let me see what her question is. So I'm sure we'll have that access set up. She's saying, I told her Jason Hufnagel, Jennifer Rowe, and Anne Marie Forney. She's asking me, so I'm assuming that Jennifer would be the one that would actually work in Aggresso. Is that right, Jason? I think yes.
Correct. Yes.
So this is great. I'm actually answering on the fly. That is correct. Jennifer.
Yes, because the system is, we're only exporting it to Aggresso, and then Jennifer will be taking it from Aggresso and working it from there.
Right. And she's asking, since Anne is actually on the EnerGov end of the process. So Anne is more or less just an observer and commentator, right?
Yes, just helping me making sure we do, and we're gonna be, because to a certain extent, I just needed an extra person in there just to help me go through the process of how Aggresso to a certain extent, how does it work in desktop versus this, and then so she can see exactly how it works, as well as
Right.
us testing it and making sure all the information actually goes over neatly the way it should.
Right. So she's telling me she just wants to make sure that Jennifer can access the system, access the environment. That's our main person, right? You need access too, right?
I don't know if I need access to the Aggresso. I think
Okay.
I don't, because I don't have any login to Aggresso right now.
Okay, very good. So she'll give Jennifer the access then.
Okay.
Great. So wow, this has all happened perfect timing, Jason Kim. You brought that up. Your bullet item came up just as Matilda was asking me these questions. Thank you.
Yeah, fortunate for us. All right. How's the IVR coming along, Jason? Any updates on that one?
If I'm being honest, I did not look at it this past week. I know I made a comment to Stanley about it on my one-on-one meeting with him, talking about how I have to update things and make sure those XLM voice responses are acting correctly. So I have to go into the database and rearrange those.
Kurt, I'm not sure if you still want to record this now that the other session is over.